the gruesome murder of the popular Ohangla dancer Sheila Odoyo, commonly known as Sheila Wegesha. Her lifeless body was found in a pool of blood on her matrimonial bed with deep cuts on her throat. Police are pursuing her husband Jackson Bambo, who is treated as the main suspect.
Mimi ndio ni immediate neighbor, lakini nafikiria ukiangalia estate na vile nyumba zetu zimetengenezwa, si rahisi ujue chenye kinaendelea sana kwa jirani. Lakini ile kitu ambayo sisi tunaweza sema ni wakati wadia mchana ya jana saa 7 ndio watoto walianza kupiga nduru hapa, kwa sababu mtoto mmoja hivyo alitoka nje akisema mama yao amewawa.
Elfu ngapi? Moja. Elfu ngapi? 2. Elfu ngapi? 3. Elfu ngapi? 4. Elfu ngapi? 5. Elfu ngapi? 6. Elfu ngapi? 7. Elfu ngapi? 8. Elfu ngapi? 9. Elfu ngapi? 10. Ngapi? 1. Elfu ngapi? 2. Hiyo ni jebi. Ngapi? Basi ni kweli te. Tayari.
Yes, 11.
Elfu 11,500.
Kweli.
Elfu ngapi? 11.
12,000, pa. 13,000, pa. 14,000, pa. 15,000, pa.
Elfu ngapi?
Saba.
Autopsy report has revealed that Ohangla dancer Sheila Odoyo, popularly known as Sheila Wegesha, died due to excessive loss of blood.
Thursday, May 9th, 2024, Athi River, Machakos County. At around 1 p.m., 18-year-old Linda Okinyi walked into her mother's bedroom carrying lunch. Sheila Wegesha was lying dead on the bed with a deep cut across her throat. The blood had already dried. Hours earlier, Sheila's boyfriend, Jackson Bambo, had packed 3 bags, left the house at around 1 a.m. and disappeared. By morning, his phone signal was traced to Nairobi County. Then it went off. 2 years later, he still has not been arrested. Before we get into the story, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy true crime documentaries like this. This is the story of Sheila Wegesha. Dark Echoes 254. Imagine a woman who could walk into a club and shift the entire energy of the room without saying a word. That was Sheila Wegesha. Born Sheila Akeyo Odoyo in 1986, she came from Homa Bay County in Kenya's Lakeside region, a Luo community where music, rhythm, and performance are part of everyday's life. She grew up in Nyamadede village in Gwasi East. Her early life was shaped by loss after both her parents died when she was still young. She was then raised by her grandmother, with her elder brother Peter Obugi taking on a strong supportive role in her upbringing. As she grew older, Sheila moved to Nairobi in search of a new life. Like many young people who leave rural homes for the city, she was trying to build something for herself in a faster, more competitive world. In Nairobi, she found her space in the entertainment scene, especially in Ohangla culture. Ohangla is a high-energy Luo music genre that blends traditional drums with modern performance style. It is loud, expressive, and deeply cultural. Sheila did not attend these events. She became part of them. She worked as a dancer and performer in clubs and live events across Nairobi and its surroundings. Over time, she became a recognizable face in Ohangla nightlife. Fans remember her face for her energy, confidence on stage, and ability to connect with the crowd. In a space where attention is hard to earn, she managed to stand out and build a name for herself. Beyond performance, Sheila also built a business life. She co-owned JB Liquor, an entertainment and liquor business located in Umoja Estates, Nairobi, together with her partner. Friends and associates described her as hardworking and active in day-to-day running of the business. She was not only a performer but also an entrepreneur trying to balance entertainment with financial stability. At the center of her life was also motherhood. Sheila had children, including her daughter Linda Okinyi, who was around 18 years old at the time of her death. Family remained an important part of her life even as she navigated work, relationship, and business in the city. Sheila's personal life included two major relationships. Her first marriage was with Sergeant Samuel Odoyo, a police officer. They were together for many years, with accounts placing the marriage at around 13 years. During that time, they had children together. Even after their separation in 2017, they remained in contact and continued co-parenting their children. According to Odoyo, they maintained communication and worked together to support their family despite no longer being together as a couple. After the separation, Sheila later entered a relationship with Jack Bambo. He was a businessman in her late 40s. The two moved in together and lived in Hillview Estate in Athi River, Machakos County. Their lives became linked both personally and professionally, including their involvement in JB liquor business. From the outside, Sheila and Jackson appeared to be a successful couple. They posted photos and videos together on social media, often showing affection and shared moments. However, people close to them later described a relationship that had challenges, including disagreements and tension that were not visible in the online image. Despite her personal struggle, Sheila maintained a public life that was full of movement and visibility. She was known in entertainment circles, active in business, and present in social spaces where she had built her identity over the years. Sheila Wegesha was a woman who built her life between two worlds, her rural roots in Homa Bay and her fast-paced life in Nairobi entertainment and business scene. She was a mother, a performer, and a businesswoman who lived loudly in public spaces and worked to build stability behind the scenes. That life came to a sudden and violent end on May 9, 2024, inside her home in Athi River. It was supposed to be just another ordinary night in Hillview Estates, Athi River, Machakos County, a quiet, gated residential area where families lived behind high walls and closed gates. But in the early hours of May 8th, going into May 9th, 2024, that silence was broken forever. According to police reports and witness accounts, Jack Bambo left the home around 1 a.m. He got into the couple's silver Mitsubishi Outlander and drove off without saying a word. No argument was heard, no distress calls, just silence. What happened inside that house before he left is what defines this case. Sheila Wegesha, 38, was attacked with a sharp object. She suffered deep fatal cuts, especially to the neck. The injuries caused massive blood loss. She was later found lying in her bed in a pool of blood that had soaked into the mattress. A postmortem conducted by Dr. Misheka confirmed the cause of death as excessive blood loss due to sharp force trauma. Samples were taken for further analysis and investigators noted signs of struggle in the bedroom. But what stood out most was what wasn't there. No neighbors reported screams. No alarms was raised during the night. The house stayed quiet. The body was discovered the next afternoon. Around 1 p.m. on May 9th, Sheila's daughter, Linda Okinyi, went to her mother's room to serve her lunch. She opened the door and found her mother lifeless in bed. She screamed for help. Neighbors rushed in. Police was called immediately. By then, Jackson Bambo was already gone. At around 2:30 a.m., he had abandoned the couple's Mitsubishi Outlander in Nairobi CBD near Kencom. A parking attendant later told investigators he paid $450, left the keys, and walked away carrying 3 bags. Later that morning, his phone signal was traced to Narok County at around 6:26 a.m. After that, it went off completely. Police launched a manhunt and named him the main suspect. The question that followed was simple but heavy. What happened in that house? What happened in that room? Was it jealousy? Was it betrayal? Was it a confrontation that escalated? Was it insecurity? Because often than not, a woman's success is always associated with bedsheets. And not only that, if you become too successful, jealousy creeps in, and if your light can't be dimmed, then death and character assassination is an option. Those questions spread fast online. Some people pointed to alleged infidelity. Others believed there had been long-standing tension in the relationship. But police, at least in the early stages, focused on tracking his movements rather than confirming motives. The body was first taken to Shalom Community Hospital mortuary, then later moved for a full autopsy. Meanwhile, the family was left trying to process what had happened. Sheila's relatives and her first husband, Sergeant Samuel Odoyo, would later speak out, distancing themselves from Jackson Bambo and focusing on the loss. That single night turned a performer, a mother, a businesswoman into a center of one of Kenya's most disturbing domestic violence cases and character assassination stories. A woman who was alive in the evening was gone. But who is this man, Jackson Bambo? If Sheila Wegesha was the vibrant performer on stage, Jackson Bambo, better known as JB, was the man behind the business, the planner, and the one who appeared to share her ambitions. But who exactly was he? Jack Bambo, born Jackson Bambo, hails from Uriri in Migori County. He rose from humble beginnings. By his own accounts, his parents could not afford to send him to school initially. Through sponsorship and determination, he became educated, earning a bachelor's degree in education, maths and geography, and a master's in environmental planning and management. He started as a teacher in profession. Jack is best known in Migori as the founder and director of Light Uriri Academy. This is not just any school, it's a non-profit initiative focused on vulnerable children. It serves orphans, abandoned kids, street children, and survivors of sexual abuse, with reports of over 540 students at one point. Jack positioned himself as a man giving back to the community, rescuing and educating some of the most disadvantaged children in the region. He has publicly shared his testimony about overcoming poverty through education and using that to help others. Beyond education, Jack had a strong business side. He co-owned and ran JB Liquor Store with Sheila. The couple lived in the upscale Hillview estate in Athi, Machakos County, and were often seen as a power couple blending entertainment, hospitality, and social impact. On social media, they posted affectionate photos, Jack holding Sheila, smiling, building what looked like a successful life together. At the time of the incident, Jack was around 45 to 48 years old. Those who knew him describe him as a relatively quiet, ambitious, and involved in both community work and commercial ventures. He had an ex-wife reportedly living in the USA, adding another layer to his personal history. To the public before May 2024, Jack Bambo seemed like a success story, a self-made educator, businessman, and partner to a popular Ohangla star. But after the event of that night, the picture became far more complicated. Family members on Sheila's side would later reject Jack Bambo publicly, insisting they never recognized the relationship as a marriage. This contrast, the man who built a school for vulnerable girls, now accused in the brutal killing of his partner, is one of the most haunting elements of this case. It raises difficult questions about the gap between public image and private reality. For days, then weeks, Jackson Bambo remained missing. Social media filled the gap. There were theories, claims, and alleged sightings. Some people said he had crossed borders. Others believed he was hiding within Kenya, possibly with friends or relatives. None of it was confirmed by investigators, but the pressure kept building. The case stayed in the public view with constant updates and speculation across media platforms. After Sheila Wegesha's death, the story did not end in Athi River. It moved in public spaces where friends, family, and the entertainment community gathered to mourn her. A memorial vigil was held in Nairobi before the burial. The event brought together family members, friends, and people from the Ohangla entertainment scenes. Performers, fans, and business associates attended. Many described her as someone who had been active, visible, and deeply involved in the community right up until her death. The mood at the vigil was heavy. It was not just a celebration of her life, it was also a public attempt to process a violent and sudden loss. People shared memories of her energy on stage, her presence in nightlife spaces, and her role in entertainment business. Music associated with the Ohangla culture played during parts of the gathering, reflecting the world she had been part of. From Nairobi, her body was later transported to Homa Bay County for burial. The journey itself drew attention. As the convoy moved through different areas, people gathered along the roadside. Some came out of curiosity, others out of grief, and others simply to acknowledge what had happened. The burial took place at Nyalkinyi village in Kanyada, Homa Bay County, at her husband's home. The ceremony was attended by both family and members at the wider community. Her first husband, Sergeant Samuel Odoyo, was present and played a central role in the proceedings. And Sheila was laid to rest accordance with the Luo customs, which prioritized burial at the homestead of the man who paid the dowry.